Hey guys, Luke here. We're here to preview the Saturday games for round 21. There's 3 games, and we're going to start with the first one. It's kick-off at 3 PM at Ramonda Stadium, so Sharks home game. So it's Sharks versus Eels. The referee is Ashley Klein, and the assistant referee is Adam G. The touch judges are Dan Eastwood and Anthony Elliott, and the video refs are Bernard Sutton and Luke Phillips. You can be seen on Fox Sports live at 3 PM, and it's on ABC and Triple M Radio. So we're going to the team lineups. So we have the Sharks. We got Michael Gordan, Siosiah Feki, Jonathan Wright, Ricky Latelli, Jacob Gagan, Manu Brown, Jeff Robson, Andrew Fifita, Michael Leacher, Sam Takatizi, Luke Lewis, Wade Graham, and Chris Harrington. And their bench is Pat Polatoni, Anthony Tupou, Tina Rao Arona, and Tim Robinson, with 18th man being Tupu Sopoaga, or something along the lines of that. Sorry if I got any of the names pronounced wrong. Sure that there might be some in the Eels lineup potentially. So we're going to start with the captain, Jarryd Hayne. You all know he is. Semi Radradra, Ryan Morgan, Will Hopoate, Ken Seo, Corey Norman, Chris Sandow, Tim Mena, who's also co-captain. We've got Isaac De Gois, a hooker, Fui Moi Moi, Penny Terapo, Tepe Moa Roa, David Gower, and then on the bench we've got Joseph Paulo, Junior Paulo, Paulie, and Ben Smith. And we've got Joseph Paulo's did he play for America? The second row, 5'8", all playing forward, and I think Junior Paulo's the young prop. I was going to say big prop, but I think he's like 19, something like that. Yeah. So it's a tough one to judge this one. I'm doing these just off the top of my head, sort of things. I don't want to think about too much. Just go whatever comes into my head on who will win. And I just have a feeling that Parramatta win this one. Sharks been pretty diabolical all season, but lately they've been in some pretty decent form. I mean, they lost. If you look at their win streak, they're on a 1 win streak. Well, both teams are, but I think Parramatta just overall throughout the season they've shown enough to say that they're not. It's not a fluke. You could say some of Sharks' wins have been a fluke, possibly. Although they are getting a lot of troops back. A lot of their losses were due to injury, and now they're getting a lot of players back from injury, I should say, which has really lifted the side. Like Fifita's a big return. Leach has played a few more games. Gallen hasn't returned yet. I'm not sure when he returns, but he'll probably be a big plus. And I think they're finding some stability in their backs. I remember at the start of the season they were swapping and changing every week. Ashford would play one, then he'd get dropped, and Jonathan Wright would come into the centres, and then he'd swap back to the wing, whereas they keep him with the centres and wingers. Also, there's a few due to injury, but it happens to every team, I guess. Moving to the Eels side, no Willie Tonga. I'm not sure. He's not listed in New South Wales Cup. I had to check before I started. So they got Ryan Morgan in there. He's a decent player. He can do the job, I would think. Will Hopoate hasn't been outstanding. Hasn't been a superstar. Probably hasn't justified the big price tag, but he has been a decent player this year. Jarryd Hayne. When I went to pick the sides, like just a little bit earlier, when I said pick Eels, pretty much because of Jarryd Hayne. Also, Isaac De Gois has been a good signing. I thought when Pete's went down for the season, I literally said, "Oh, Eels are done for the season." But then they picked up De Gois. Well, he isn't a big superstar, and either is Pete's really. De Gois does the job. Doesn't try to overplay it. So yeah, I think Eels picked this one. I picked this one up. I wouldn't say 13 plus. Probably a 1 to 12 is a safe bet. But we'll just have to wait and see. The next game is a clash between 2 Queensland sides. You've got North Queensland Cowboys and the Titans. It's at 1300 Smile Stadium, so a Cowboys home game. Kickoff's at 5:30. Referees Jared Maxwell, assistant referees Gavin Badger. The touch judges are Ricky McFarlane and Dave Ryan, and the video refs are Steve Chitty and Steve Oakes. And it's at 5:30 PM on Fox Sports, with being on radio live on ABC at 4TO FM and 2GB. Ugh. Tongue-tied there. Tongue-twisted, I should say. So we'll go through the Cowboys lineup. Fullback Michael Morgan, Tau Moga on the wing, Matthew Wright, Kane Linnett, Antonio Winterstein, Robert Louis and Jonathan Thurston in the halves. Matt Scott returns for this game. Rory Koch Jason at the hooker, James Tamu, Tarek Sims, Jason Tambalalo and Glenn Hall. The bench is Ray Thompson, Scott Bolton, Ashton Sims, and John Asiata. Titan side is as follows: Kevin Gordan, Anthony Don, James Roberts, David Taylor, David Mead, Brad Takarangi, Daniel Warner, Luke Douglas, Bo Falloon, Nate Myles, Mark Minicello, Paul Carter, and Greg Bird. And their bench is Matthew White, Mark Ione, Cody Nelson, Maurice Blair. Now both teams have a decent side. Honestly, I think Cowboys going to win this one. They've been on a roll. I think they'll win this one convincingly, to be honest. Their starting side is too strong to lose this one, really. I've said this before. I think Cowboys are still lacking a really strong. If they had a real strong hooker, there would be a real strong chance of winning the premiership this year. I mean, they always go close. They turn it on after Origin, especially Thurston and that. But I think they've just lack a hooker. Just a quality hooker. Of course, Jason's a good, decent player. He's solid, but I don't see a team winning a premiership with him at hooker. But Michael Morgan, really good game against the Bulldogs. I paid close attention to the Cowboys game because obviously they played the Bulldogs. So I think I'm right in saying that Michael Morgan had a really good game last week, except for the part he had a little slip up in goal. Nothing major, but just the line dropout. Apart from that, some really nice kicks in play. Thurston is Thurston, like he's just good, just a great player. Tummy didn't play most of the game last week, so he's almost a return for the side as well. But the big return is Matt Scott. I'm going to see him doing some damage this game. Titans, I'm not sure where Albert Kelly is. I know he's been injured. Actually, I just look at their injury thing and he's indefinite. Came back too early probably, and it's cost them. So they're still going with the halves pairing of Takarangi and Mortimer. Mortimer is a solid player. I think he was definitely too good to be sitting on the bench at the Roosters. But Takarangi I'm not sold on. I don't know. I don't find him that good of a centre. Not a very good forward, not a very good half player. Everyone talks him up, but I haven't seen it yet. He's still young. It can still happen. Dave Taylor's been really good in the centres. I'm assuming he'll be lining up against Matthew Wright, so he'll be in for a tough time. Dave Taylor's been great for him in the centres. So I think if there's any chance they need to get Dave Taylor involved. Also, James Robert himself is a good centre too, but Kane Lennox a good defender, so that might cancel him out. But yeah, like I said, I think Cowboys will win. I would say 13 plus because Titans tend to have some blowout games where they get smashed. But I have to wait and see. And then the last game for Saturday is the Roosters taking on the Dragons. It's a big rivalry game. So it starts at 7:30 at Allianz Stadium. Referees are Shane Hayne, Grant Atkins, touch judge Jeff Eunice and Nick Bieshel, with the video refs being Steve Clark and Luke Patton. I think they did a Friday night game, I'm not sure. But yeah, 7:30 on Fox Sports, and it's on radio ABC Queensland and 2GB plus 4BC, whatever that is. So I'm going to go with the lineups. Anthony Minicello, Nene McDonald, Michael Jennings, Sean Kenny-Dow and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is their backline, with Maloney and Pearce in the halves. Ria Hargraves, Jake Friends, Moa, Gordan, Aguera and Nuasala in the forwards. And on the bench we've got Heath Lestrange, Isaac Liu, Dylan Napa and Remy Casti, with Vincent Lulalai, I think is who it is, being 18th man. I'm not sure who he is. So obviously a big omission there is Sonny Bill through injury. I'm going to go into the Dragon side before we go on to that. So they've got Quinlan, Morris, Dugan, Beale, Nightingale, Widdop and Marshall in the halves, Cray, Rain, Cooper, Armour, Thompson and DeBellin, and their benches Harrison, Merrin, Matthews and Stockwell, with 18th man being Shane Pameepi, a former Bulldog. Now I honestly think this game will be a lot closer than anybody thinks. Widdop and Marshall been in some pretty good form, Widdop especially. He's just been great throughout the whole season. They got Brett Morris back on the wing, so Morris and Nightingale pretty safe under the ball. Nene McDonald and Tuivasa-Sheck have the tendency to drop a few bombs, especially Tuivasa-Sheck I noticed. He does drop a lot of bombs uncontested. So that could be a problem. Could be a problem, especially when he comes to fullback. But you have to wait and see how he turns out. Quinlan, he's doing a decent job. I don't see him as the long-term future of the Dragons. I think Dugan will move back there eventually. But for now, Quinlan, he's doing a good enough job there. I wouldn't say he's any worse than Minicello at this stage. Obviously, Minicello's been around a lot longer. Good communicator and all that sort of stuff, but in terms of what they offer in attack and all that, Quinlan's pretty good. Dugan's been playing out of his skin at centre, and Jarryd Bill's a good solid player. New Zealand international, I believe. So yeah, the backlines are pretty even, I'd say. And then in the halves, also pretty even. To be honest, at this stage, I'd give the edge to Dragons. So I think Pearce is very good. Maloney, he's been okay, but just can't seem to get it together. I mean, last week they did lose, but he did play pretty well, I thought. 2 tries that should have been a try. He just couldn't get the ball down. Just great efforts from the Knights. Forward pack, you'd say you'd have to say Roosters on paper, but I wouldn't expect St George to be walkovers this time. The forward pack seems okay. I still don't think Ben Gray is a prop. Mitch Rain's pretty decent hooker, but I think Jake Friend's better. And I'm saying that now, they're missing Sonny Bill, but I think they're still a way better forward pack than Dragons. But Sonny Bill, he's a big part of the Roosters side. He draws in a lot of attention. When Gordan runs those lines, the lines are open because Sonny Bill creates them on the other side, or he creates them near him. So he's going to be a big loss, but I think Guerrero and Gordan can cover him for the time being that he's out, especially against Dragons. But I'm still not sold on them beating the Dragons, but I'm also not sold on Dragons beating them. If I had to make a suggestion, I'd probably go for Roosters, just because they've been a great team throughout the last few years, and St George, I'm still not sure just how good they are. So it's the end of the episode, or end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you disagree with any of my opinions or predictions, leave them in the comments. You don't need to be hateful, no need for that. But yeah, leave in the comments what you think the scores will be. Alright, I'll see you for the next episode, which should be the Sunday games. See you then. Bye.